I'm so excited. Ah! All right. Woo. Setting up. Almost there. Quick double check with YouTube, making sure we're all good there. Coma 9 Cincy, don't worry about that. It's no worries. It's no worries. People gonna people. I'm not affected. You shouldn't be affected either. It's all good then. They don't like the wait. I love that. That's a sound response. Oh boy! Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official Rockfish Game stream. I am your host and your guide through all things Everspace 2, Eric Schrader, the community ambassador. I live to serve you guys, and man, oh, we are so close. We are so freaking close. Ah! Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna tease you guys with just a little bit more content. And when I say a little bit, I'm talking just a little bit. I don't want to spoil all the fun. Oh, that music. Oh my gosh. I was actually just reviewing the patch notes right before dropping this. And like, you know, it's interesting because internally, you know, it's like we're doing these little tweaks here and there and we're trying to like iron out the details because we run into like constant issues all the time. Like this is part of game dev. Any developer will tell you that. And so like every little tweak we get, it's like, oh, we did this one little thing here. We do that one little thing there. But since Zarkov, like looking at the game state from where we were at then versus where we were at now, based on certain suggestions and ideas that came from you guys, the feedback, the bug reporting, wow. Like, it's heavy. Oh my gosh. And this is almost in your hands. Oh, we are so close. So we're going to be diving into a new location today in the Khaït Nebula. We're going to show you some new sound effects. We are going to fly around, destroy some Redeemers. Maybe, I hope. Maybe I'll just be a buffoon and die simply. And we're also going to make sure that we're answering all of oh my gosh, the music is muted. How dare I? How dare I? Oh my gosh, there it is. There it is. Everything's much better. Whew, saved that one. Thank you. Thank you for you guys pointing out there was no music. But if you guys have any questions about anything's going on, because I mean, we also did make an announcement earlier this week about our partnership with Microsoft. Don't worry, that doesn't mean any exclusive things happened or creative freedoms from us have been ripped away. No. Everything is fine. Don't you worry about that. It just means that we're going to be able to greater service the product, which is in turn going to better service you guys. But if you guys do have questions about that, feel free to ask. We can deliver more responses in the chat. Michael's here. He's the CEO of Rockfish Games. I'm sure that he would be delighted to iron out any kinks and details or concerns that you guys have. We are a very transparent company. We want to make sure you guys know what are going on. What are going on? I can English very clearly. So know about all this blabbing. You guys came to see a little bit more content. You guys are sitting here waiting eagerly for that experimental build to drop. I do have Andy on the line. Andy, can you say hello? Oh wait, no, I don't have him on the line. I'm silly, but I do have him waiting whenever we do have all the checks and balances to go ahead and make things happen. So there's that. Delightful. All right, so we're going into teaser 3. Wonderful. Whew. Yeah, so fun little fact as I load into this location. Woo. Well, that's actually not a very attractive load-in. Goodness gravy. Check out this nebula first. Fun little fact, we were actually updating more details for the experimental build like moments ago. Like, we're still ironing out little details that we're pushing so that you guys can get your hand on it as soon as possible. So the gap there is between the last update, the last little patch, so to speak, that we're applying to the experimental build before we push the go button is a very minimal amount of time. If you look at like the space we have in development, it's like, woo! So it's basically like, we did our last little tweaks and fixes and modifications, and then we're pushing the button. So we are like right there. We are right there, guys. Oh my goodness. Goodness gravy. So I see a question that says, is it gonna be available in cloud gaming? So if we go to any sort of cloud gaming, we would make that appropriate announcement at the time of figuring out what that looks like. As of right now, we have not concluded anything in that sense. So there might be more on that space in the future. All right, so now I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna look at this site. Even though it looks a little wonky, we're gonna examine it a little bit. And we're gonna see, in particular, how very different these asteroids are from kind of the norm. Now, I'm also seeing some frame drops. 1 second, gonna iron that out real brief. We're gonna go ahead and fly up to this location. I'm seeing some frame drops. It should iron itself out. If it doesn't, you guys let me know, and I'm sure you will. And we're just gonna fly over next to our lovelies here. These little jellyfish lovelies. Just kind of look around. I think we want to go inside of this large mass. Let me find an entry point. Much better. All right. Okay. So as you can see, this is kind of just a big old twisty asteroid. Some new textures, new sides on it. And we have, we got this thing. Now we also have a location challenge active here. Got some Okar flying away, I guess. And a station, which looks like it's broken. Brightly shining asteroids. Okay, good, good. Wonderful. Quite mysterious. Quite alluring. And it looks like our goal is to open this sealed ancient structure up. We'll probably do that in a moment. Maybe. So we've been seeing a couple things floating out here as we were flying around, and we see another large mass. It looks like debris. And then we also have these, I guess, literally debris in front of this crystal. Now, why in the world is this in front of the crystal, and why do I have to move this? I don't know. I'm gonna do it anyway. Maybe that's important. And I'm gonna show you one of many unique challenges that we've been incorporating into the game. Now, you guys might be familiar with this, with me saying this, but I actually mentioned before that when we were doing our last sort of our last pathway into the Khaït Nebula, building all the mission chains up and everything, and we did an internal playtest, I was initially underwhelmed until I realized what was actually being contained in the Khaït Nebula, okay? I want to put a lot of emphasis on this, because at first, it doesn't necessarily seem like there's much going on at first. But this system has very quickly become my favorite because of how interactable it is. So here, I'm showing off a new sort of, we'll call it a puzzle for all intents and purposes. This is called an ancient lens, and we can grab onto it. And then it just makes this very ominous humming noise. And we can look around with it, I guess. That's fun. So, what would you have to do with this? It's not exactly your traditional puzzle. We recognize that a lot of individuals, we're kind of just following markers and other puzzles throughout the game space. And while that's all, you know, like fine and dandy, if you will, we also wanted to give more incentive to the observant ones out there who have a keen eye for lack of detail, or for a knack for detail. And you can see here, like these ancient lenses, they're meant to point at something. And in particular, we see that pointing at these crystals moves something. And so every time you find one of these, you have to look around, you have to find that next respective crystal. For it to show you what's around the corner. And it activates something new. Oh, there's an ancient rune in here. Oh, we're not gonna worry about that. Now, I didn't follow my line of sight there. I got distracted by this sight. But as you follow each piece of this puzzle, it's gonna gradually open things up to where you will eventually, I'm not gonna give away all the secrets here, until it eventually gets you what you are looking for. But you can see it does reconstruct certain parts of the environment. Some of that could be useful in, I don't know, say, opening pathways. But otherwise, yeah. One leads to another. Now you can probably see why I threw that debris out of the way. But that's just one of many new types of challenges we've added. And then there's this guy. How many of you guys remember this guy? How many of you guys remember this guy? This guy hasn't been in the game in I don't even know how freaking long. Holy cow. Woo! I'm gonna crack my neck a little bit. I also want to make sure that questions are getting answered. Obviously, I'm excited to show new things and stuff. Man, those jellies are as big as the whole ship? Yes. I imagine they're delicious. At least I'm gonna pretend they are. Will there ever be playable ancient ships, weapons, abilities? I really enjoy the ancient art style. So I'm gonna give you a partial answer because I don't want to be too revealing and everything. But what I will say is very directly, our player ships, we've already got a pretty solid lock in place on what they are established as. And for the most part, they're more colonial and outlaw in origin than anything else. We didn't want to veer off into a direction of like you being able to fly all these super different weird ships, one of which would be like an ancient ship style. But furthermore, the ancients don't really have ships. But we have seen their ancient technologies, not only in, but also in our last couple streams, we've shown these Redeemer factions that are intertwined with ancient technology. So I'm not gonna say it's not something that's possible. And I've given you more information than you need. But if you do like the ancient art style, you're gonna love the Khaït Nebula. I can say that for sure. Shadow creatures are back. Yep, absolutely. So for any of you who aren't familiar with these, oh, I need to turn off my lights. Yeah, shining lights directly on a shadow creature is not healthy for them because they want to stay in the shade. They want to stay in the shadow. So what we have to do is we now have to take this guy and find its mate, presumably. And if you go out into the sun, wow, we did that first try. I was actually just randomly flying about. But if you go into the sun, they'll start getting hurt and then they'll run away. We're gonna take him over here. Bloop. Dark matter. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, look at them. They're so happy. So you'll be seeing a little bit more of these little guys, especially in the Khaït Nebula itself. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and poke around here with the ancient ruins. I am secretly waiting for enemies to jump into the location, and none have done so. If they choose not to, I'm going to encourage them. We're gonna go ahead and grab this ancient rune, because as you can see, there's lots of different places to use them. They lock in place. You guys have seen this style of interaction before. But just from this location alone, we've already seen like 3 different ancient sites, then plus a combination of others. Oh, there's that frame drop again. Are our jellies causing the frame drops? Oh, that's a shame, because this is so beautiful to look at. Pause right there. Come on, Redeemers, fly into the place. Do the thing I need you to. Anyway. But you can see that there's a lot more ancient structures in the Khaït Nebula. Just in this one location alone, there's like 5 or 6 different little sites. And this is kind of consistent through the Khaït Nebula. So as many of you know, each sort of system has a particular trait about it, right? That makes it stand out from other locations. And here we have a lot of emphasis on the ancients and on their impacts they've had in the DMZ, especially since they've been quote unquote awakened, which some of you guys may or may not know anything about that if you've played EVERSPACE 1 or not. Easy on the rolling, this is hard to watch. I'm sorry, I love rolling. I will be careful. I see one question screaming my name, Alec! Will there be different possible climates or environmental hazards in the same location when revisiting? I love this question, Magnamuse. As of right now, I don't believe that's in the plans. I think that we would need a much larger budget to get in that type of crazy stuff. But I do know that we are still working on more environmental hazards. We're certainly not done in that space. Let's see what else we got real briefly, and then we'll get right back into it. And I'm gonna make sure that we have some combat in this area. Here, I'm gonna just leave this going while I look over here. In EVERSPACE 1, we had dark matter. Now it's EVERSPACE 2. Is it not time to add bright matter to make progress on matter variety? You know, it's funny you say that, actually. It's really funny you say that. Guess you'll just have to play the Khaït Nebula and find out. I'm sure somebody else on the team is like, oh, that's good. That's funny. Man, they went way out there. Okay, yeah, we're gonna encourage some enemies to come in place here. So this particular site, as you saw, there's some Okar nearby. The Okar and the Redeemers, these are not a joint force situation going on in the Khaït Nebula. No, actually, the Redeemers, you could almost call them cultists for all intents and purposes. In fact, let me pull this up really quick because I think this is some pretty cool concept art. Just want to show you very briefly. Oh, I had some combo music there. Sorry about that. But so this comes from our masterminds with our concept art, of course, to bring together what the expectation of what the ships are going to look like, and then we take this and we bring it into reality, into the game, right? That's how concept works. Duh. This is the Overlord. We fought this last time. This is the source material that we were going from. We feel like we nailed it pretty closely. And as I've also mentioned, we are still tweaking and refining certain details of these models themselves. We're pretty close to done with them. We might, yeah. Anyway, but then we also had these other ships, which we might take a little bit of a closer look at as we're fighting them today. The Disciple, the Sage, and the Ceremonial Drone. Now, a clever eye out there is going to see these ships and say, oh, that looks familiar. It's like I've seen those ships before, especially the one on the left. A lot of you are like, that's a cargo drone. Yes, very much good. Very, very much good. These are modified ships from their original forms, as opposed to being recreated in something fresh and new. And there's a very distinct reason for that. I've hinted at the lore a little bit. In fact, I expanded on it in previous streams. But I'm gonna let the main campaign and the side missions that you undertake when you dive in, allow that story to be explained further, if you're really intrigued by those details, as opposed to me just like splurging about it and taking up 45 minutes of the stream. So lots of that to look forward to. And whenever we are battling these guys, we'll take a quick look at them. Speaking of which, to battle them, I need to have some to fight. And they still haven't warped in, I'm telling you. They're vicious, they're cruel, and they will come by at any time. So I'm gonna prepare some stuff. In the meantime, do note that you can always follow us at Discord, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. There's lots of different places to go that will allow you to get all the details and the know-how on what's going on. Because there's always kind of a lot going on. I mean, today's actually a pretty large day for us. And we're excited about this. We're pretty pumped about this. And with all these things come a couple hiccups here and there, so that's why I'm doing something off screen. But I also am going to show you one other cool little thing. Since you have seen the pulse laser, as many of you know, when we get new equipment, so too does sound effects enter into the fray as well. So, let's get back to the game. Oh my gosh, the Redeemers jumped in! Ah! All right, let's go battle some. So this is our synchro pulse and the sound effect tied to it. Now, if only I could be a little more accurate. There we go. You'll also notice those drones, this is the first time you're seeing the drones, they have some sort of cosmic effect on them whenever they are destroyed. when you take them down first, which I always recommend destroying drones first, they actually benefit those nearby them. So now you might have to take a couple more thoughts on how you want to enter the fray. If you take out the drones, it's going to benefit their neighbors. But if you leave the drones, they're probably going to get you with a lot of chip damage. I'm also going to try a new combo that I've been working on. Should do a pretty good chunk of damage. Yeah, there we go. Get him, turret! Get him! My turret's not being very helpful. That makes me sad. Good, good. Excellent. All right, I think that's all of them in the immediate vicinity for the moment. But we're also going to take this moment to re-talk about the updated UI as well. This was something we cataloged in last stream, the stream before, I can't even remember. But all of the items have received new iconography. It's kind of funny because there was a post earlier on Steam. They were like, oh man, you know how Diablo does this thing where they have different icons for the different items? Yes. And they were like, you should do that. Yeah, we probably should. So this is the first wave of us going in and refining what this looks like. This may or may not be in a pretty well completed state. Also wanted to show whenever an item is behind something, it actually gets highlighted in a way where you can still see it, you can still see the range, all that type of stuff if you point at it, but you know it's obstructed in some way, shape, or form. We'll do that again. Whoop, now it's all in darkness. Just a subtle way to make you able to know if something is of value to you or not, just right out of the gate. So clearly you have the tier colorations. So like this neutron membrane, as well as this plasma, as well as this wiring kit, as well as this energy charger, all of these items are considered to be resources, right? So if you don't care about resource collection right now, you can completely avoid it, honestly. Or if you're like, I don't care about the grays, I just want the green, sure, you do that. Something like the Khaït Nebula signal decoder, that might be more appealing to you. This little symbol, it's kind of the specialty item symbol. I normally pick these up like always. This is also what colors the ship colors would come in as they drop. Then you have weapons, you have credits, you have modules, you have consumables. We're missing a couple here. There's also commodities, which has a different symbol. And then you might have also noticed, but other elements too have gotten a rework with their UI so that it's consistent across the board. Like this one over there as well. So you can tell if something needs to be operated or not with the gears, for example. You can tell if something is an energy source. You can see if there's a site that needs an energy source. All of this UI has been plucked out and distinguished so that you as a player can decide if it's important enough for you to engage with or not, just having it float there. Just that updated icon. Because I mean, I think I can speak for everybody. When you were seeing that superior item drop and you're like, oh man, I got an item, it's gonna be an awesome weapon, and then you mouse over it and it says Earthwine, and you're just like, your heart sinks. No longer. Oh my goodness. But seriously, that was painful. I mean, I was there too. When that happened, I was like, ouch! Ouch town. Oh, I'm seeing some interesting conversations. I wanna add just brief amount of clarity. individuals, anyone taking statements about like how we have like a partnership with Twitch and stuff like that. No, we're just using Twitch to stream to. There's not like a partnership there. And also when I use the term partnership, guys, like I want to be super clear and transparent about this. At the end of the day, like there can be some really wonky, strange things that happen from partnerships. Yes, as a gamer, sometimes I can get concerned when I see one of my favorite devs say, oh yeah, we're doing this thing with this company and now we're gonna like be able to do more stuff, right? Like for some of you, that can be a red flag. We get it. Totally understand. I want to be incredibly transparent here, and that when we went through the process of getting EVERSPACE to where it needs to be, we were not looking for those types of opportunities that would just like, oh yeah, we'll sell our soul, no big deal, we just need more money, LOL, okay, thanks, bye, you have creative freedoms and we have to adhere to like whatever you tell us to do. No, that's not us at all, okay? That is not our business plan at all. Michael would smack the team members if anybody ever brought something like that to the forefront. If you guys were around when we started the Kickstarter even, we had this group of individuals claiming that, oh my gosh, we're Unreal Engine, we're gonna do an Epic exclusive, Epic's gonna buy us out, and they're gonna pay for our Kickstarter, and it's all gonna suck, blah, blah, blah. Did we do that? No. Are we exclusive on Epic? No. We love Epic. We do. We work with them, but we also love Valve. And if we were to do any sort of exclusivity deal, we are stepping on some really big toes of how we operate and the already groups of partnerships that we have. Okay? So we're not about to backstab anybody. We're not about to like throw anyone under the bus, okay? So when I say that we are partnering with Microsoft, the main key thing, and I'm gonna read this verbatim from what Michael had said, is that significant license fees being paid without any strings attached, and I want to put a lot of emphasis on that, regarding change of creative direction, for example, this is arguably the very, very best that can happen to an independent studio. Did I mention there's no exclusivity? Like, I'm like dead serious when I tell you guys, everything from this is going to benefit you as a consumer of our product. So you'll also have you'll also have seen, of course, that there was a pretty big transformation with our timeline. And when I say big, I mean, it actually wasn't that big. We're aiming for 2022 for the full release. We did make that adjustment to 2023. And through that change, this is also something I want to be super clear with. That doesn't mean, oh, well, now we're gonna take more time to just like build out this so much crazier world, okay? No. It means now we have the time and the space and the resources, most important word there, the financial backing, not through only your support, but now also through our partnerships, to iron out every single one of those kinks and making sure that the quality of our product is exactly where your expectations lie. That is the big point of profit for both us and for you. So we are thrilled that we had such a delightful event occur, and we're choosing this for our benefit and for your benefit. Now, if you want even more details to all of this, because I've been kind of rattling on a little bit, also enjoy the music. Also know that we did have a beat drop recently about this. I believe is it on Kickstarter? I know it's on Steam for sure. And I'm sure that Michael or Will would be able to hook us up with that link accordingly. So if you want to know even more about the nuances and the details, you can fly over there as well. And again, like, it might sound like I'm sugarcoating a little bit. Sincerely, I really want to be clear on this. I am a gamer too. I understand the fear that comes from, partnerships and the developers make, okay? I have been really transparent on the streams too. Like, I've even said, like, if Michael were to do something, I would leave ROCKFISH. Like, this is one of those things. Like, if our soul got sold, I'd be out. You'd see somebody else streaming on Fridays. I'm not even joking. Like, our team members have way too much integrity to pull some stupid heist. So just being, I'm like being way too open about this. Michael's probably like, okay, Eric, that's good. You made your point. But he's dropping the link for you guys to read more about, should you desire that. Okay, so I need to open the map. Oh gosh, I need to open the map. I know I can't show you guys that map yet. You will get the map very soon. I am gonna jump over here one more time. Oh my gosh, what a savage I am. How dare I? How dare I? We are gonna fly to another little location here in the Khaït Nebula. Because I know at this site, we're gonna have even more combat opportunities. And I think it also looks pretty good. I guess we'll see what you guys think. Going back to the Brie bioplant. Oh yes, here we go. Oh my goodness, some freelancers out here trying to aid this station. Here, let's get a closer look at these ships, because I know that some of you are probably wondering their art style and their direction. Here you see a front shield generator on this guy, blocking anything coming out. And this is the Redeemer Sage. These guys are a support ship. That lighting is a little rough. Here, let's look at the underside. Ah! Hey guys, let me show all the details of the bottom of the ship. But you can see that source material I showed you moments ago, and the end product, where we're at right now, we're pretty happy with how the results are coming together. We are pretty stinking happy with how it's all coming together. And this is a freelancer ship. I am wanting to show you this very briefly, just for, you know, I don't know, no other reasons whatsoever, but just to kind of see that sort of style that it looks like. Okay, you get it. This is what the disciples look like. Yep. One of the core elements of the Redeemers, oh man, there's a lot of stuff blasting. I want to be able to hear this pulse laser better. Hang on. Get these drones out of the way. There we go. One of the core aspects of these Redeemers is that they were not really bound to a particular faction, okay? So when these guys were found and what they have been using, it's more like they're, you could almost call them a freelancer sub-faction, all right? So that's kind of where you can see their visual look come from. Here's a disciple. I'm gonna fly over there. I know I just destroyed one, but here's the disciple. And remember that freelancer ship that I just looked at? Probably seeing some similarities now. There's still more going on, of course. So when I say sub-faction, I'm of course talking about in conjunction with, in tandem with. So like you guys know, the Bloodstar faction is a sub-faction of outlaws, right? And there's still more in the works. We're not done with these types of systems. And for anybody who's very cleverly thinking, oh, well, Bloodstar had a unique set, does that mean we'll see more sets in the future? I mean, yes, I'm just gonna say yes. I'm just gonna say yes, of course. Of course. You can absolutely guaranteed see more sets in the future. I keep destroying these drones first. Maybe not my best move, but that's fine. Woo! And these front shields, look at that. When we hit it, it pulses, so you know that you're not hitting your target. Now we're in a Vanguard, which means we can actually fly around it. Other ships might not be able to have the luxury of flying around like that. amazing how much more accurate you can be whenever everything's much slower. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Nice. There we go. I just love that sound. I kind of wish we had a pulse laser to compare it to, so you guys can like hear the difference. But as new equipment shows up. Oh, also remember that statement about dark matter? I just want to put this on the screen for a second. But there are new resources that are showing up as well, which have purpose. I also want to point that out. And also rest assured, the resources and the commodities currently in the game, there are still plans that has not been nixed. There are still plans to have purpose to that as well. So rest assured, that's still in the works. I was like, they're adding more and they haven't even fixed what they added yet. Rah, rah, rah. I'm an angry gamer. No, actually, I understand. I'm a gamer too. I've seen it happen in early access. It's all part of the process though. We'll get there. We'll get there together. I just ask for your patience. Oh my goodness. Wait a second, I saw a bad pun. Hang on. Will this patch specifically include a Redeemer set? No, this patch will not include a Redeemer set Geometry Prime. I kind of said like that there's going to be a Redeemer set. Huh. Oh my gosh, Costi says it looks like the mule from StarCraft 2. Yeah, you were talking about the Sage. Oh man, now I can't get out of that mind. Oh gosh, you're absolutely right. That's fantastic. At some point, like all sci-fi stuff just starts blurring together and you're like, oh, that looks like a Viper. Oh, that looks like an X-Wing. Oh, that looks like a Enterprise. Oh, that looks like, you know, and you just like, it just all starts to, This ship that I'm flying right now, what else does it look like? What else does it look like? I'm sure there's like at least 5 other sci-fi ships. But rest assured, we're going with our own unique style and feel. Can EMP take their front shield down? Crisis, I love that question. I don't actually know. Let's find out. Let's find out together. We'll wait in this area. When more jump in, we'll try that. That would make sense. I know that we want to have certain conditional effects. When I'm referring to conditional effects, I'm talking about the stuff that would generate up here. Now you'll see this is still a work in progress. I think this has been a work in progress in a while. It's just needing some additional tweaks and modifications. There are even more conditions still coming to the game space. Anyway, these types of conditions, they don't just apply some sort of generic thing. Like it's something that lasts, it's something that benefits something else in most cases. So through that, EMP, the big thing that it does is it stops an opponent's ability to fire at you. It stops their mobility. It removes their physics. So you can get real crazy with throwing them around, say, with a fusion hook. There are alternate things that happen when you apply various effects. And we've had some internal conversations about certain effects triggering certain actions based on how we design. That sounds so convoluted. Something like an energy shield plus EMPing, there could be some interactions there. Now, also keep in mind that there are additional traits and modifiers on your ship parts that can also do more. So there's going to be quite the assortment of ways you can interact with your enemies and what they are using in particular to, in some cases, use it against them. Your screenshots folder is going to explode in the near future? Yes. I am thoroughly expecting our screenshots page on Discord to just absolutely go ham. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and just grab this because I don't like the noise. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Everything's fine. Webmine launcher. 10,000 credits! We updated that. Holy cow. I'll take it. We will take that. Now, as much as I'd like to dock at this site, there are locations and there are side missions and location challenges that I'm trying to mostly avoid for the sake of your enjoyment when you discover these things. But with the Brie auto plant, you guys know that this is like where different creatures are being contained. You can see that. So there's going to be some fun stuff to do here. Lots of secure containers, for example. I'm kind of just flying on the outside. A lot of the spaces in the Khaït Nebula, you're looking at it from afar and it doesn't seem like there's much to do. And the closer you get, the more you weave about, you're going to see that there's a healthy amount of content, actually. Hang on a second. I actually really like this sort of... There's something about this that I really enjoy. Yeah. Nice. I'm not nearly as clever as some of you guys have been about like how you do all like the little aperture tricks and stuff. Some of the screenshots you guys take are just insane. I feel like I'm getting some level of creativity, but anyway, we're gonna keep going. All right, we're gonna wait for more enemies to spawn in. We're gonna fight some more. We're gonna see about the EMP. I don't think we have it working like that, but that's not to say we can't in the future. Let's see, looking for more questions. Oh my gosh, Deshra, that comment. I know what that is. It's a ship used on Farscape that was part of Star Trek IV: A New Hope. Woo! There's a bit to unpack there. Is this game HOTAS or mouse and keyboard? Why not both? You can absolutely use a HOTAS and HOSAS. It does, let's see. I think we even have a couple pre-built setups so that you can get right in. If Andy's in the chat, he'll correct me on that if I said that incorrectly. But I know that he's been doing a lot of work making sure the HOTAS is going to operate accordingly. We'll also have track IR support. I remember seeing a question about, I think it's called Open Track or something else like that. We're looking into that. No VR support, we're not doing VR. Controllers, of course. Is this where we will mine cheese? It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Kind of looks like that a little bit. It doesn't look like we got a sage that spawned in. How dare us? Oh, we'll just fight these guys. Oh, something else I want to mention. This synchro pulse that I'm using right here, this is not a rapid synchro pulse, okay? I will have you know that I tested a rapid synchro pulse on a gunship, which doubles its fire rate. If you guys have any interest in proc gen effects, you are going to be happy. All right. Beautiful. have you fixed bosses wandering out of range? I know that we have refined, actually, let me read this verbatim from our patch notes that will soon be live for the experimental branch. Let's see. Because I know this has been something we've had to address, because it was messing us up too. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? We have too many bug fixes for me to find this quickly. I'm gonna simplify because I know it's been something that's occurred. We've had a lot of captured footage of it. In some cases, making it impossible, for example, to complete high-risk area challenges. That's a problem. That's not something where it's like, oh yeah, you know, it happens sometimes, it's no big deal. Like, we recognize that needs to be fixed. So we are fixing it. We've gone through and we've seeped through the last iteration somewhat recently so that it happens far less frequently, and hopefully permanently gone. That would be amazing. But if it does keep happening, we will gladly accept save files and see your gameplay videos to ensure that we get it all tweaked and modified correctly. Because again, that is a problem. We do not want that in the game at all. It is unacceptable. So that will be addressed. We also had to fix how items work at the location border. For anyone wondering, is like, what are you referring to? Like when you say something like location border, I'm just gonna fly out here, you'll see. Preferably we don't want items to just go flying out into the outer wilds, right? So what we would rather have happen is have some sort of border bring the item back in, okay? From a realistic standpoint, that doesn't really make sense, but as you can probably tell in a lot of aspects of our core gameplay features, we don't necessarily care too much about realism. We care about fun. We care about functionality. So we're working on ways to tweak those systems as well. And that's gonna be something we continue to, that continues to evolve over time through development. But yeah, that's a big one that we don't want to occur. Haven't played the original in years since we covered it on the XP Gamers. How's it going? Hey, Captain Shack. Is 2 out already? Nope, it's not. It is not. We have a bit of time left for early access, so we can get through all of the quality improvements and everything that needs to happen to the game space and ensure that all of the promises that we shared will be met. But we are getting ready to drop a nice, healthy update known as the Khaït Nebula Stranger Skies. That's Khaït, so it's like you're trying to say kite and yeet at the same time. Khaït Nebula. In fact, it's dropping very soon. Excelsior says open track would be cool. Yeah, like I said, we started opening up that conversation internally, so we will see what that looks like. I can't make any promises on it, of course, because I don't know what that looks like at all. I don't know if that's like super easy. It's like, oh, we just have to push a button, boop, open track. I imagine that's not how it works. I'd probably talk with Hans Christian or Marco or Andy and they'd look at me like, dude, don't even make them think that's how development works. That button's actually right next to add multiplayer, by the way. But you know, I'm not allowed to say that. All right, let's take out some more guys. I need a sage. I just want to look at a sage. Yeah, this pulse laser. These guys aren't bringing the thunder like I was hoping they would. I might have to go to yet another location. We're gonna stay behind this guy. I just want to show you the maneuverability of the Vanguard. Like, we're straight up trolling this guy. He's like, I have boosters too. Not as boosty as mine. Like, this guy's really maneuverable and I'm not giving him a chance. Oh, whoops, shoot. There we go. Do you guys like flying with the greatest amount of mobility, this ship that I'm flying right here, the Vanguard, is gonna be your favorite. Now, if you want the most speed, actually gonna be found in a different ship, I think. Oh, he got a shot, unacceptable. There we go. Hey, more solar particles, excellent. Excellent. Gameplay's looking smooth. Good, because I'm seeing I got a little bit of frame rate droppage. I'm glad it's coming through clear now. Start of the stream was a little All right, we're gonna jump to another side, I believe. We're gonna go back to one that's familiar. So we're gonna do that awkward transition thing where I have to hide the screen. I know, oh my goodness, how dare I? Oh gosh. But we do want to go to another site that this was the first site that we showed off, actually. We just want to spend just a brief additional amount of time there. We're not going to crack things open too much further than where we did before. I'm going to be transparent there because I want you guys to get the secrets. I want you guys to find out what's going on. That's going to be left to you. All right, we do have, did I see a sage? Did I see a sage? There's no sages here. But this is the Aethorian Fault. They got me right at the cusp of that. We're gonna do our cheeky shenanigan combo here. That should do enough damage to even kill him, yeah. So I'm kind of using a little bit of a stacking method with my devices. I just want to show this to you guys so you kind of can see what's doing. I've got comorbidity, that Annihilator virus with the second mode. Basically, this deals 20% bonus damage for each additional debuff on the target. And it has two other ones at minimal, perhaps even three based on the weapon I'm using, because my weapon actually adds a debuff as well. But our corrosion injector applies yet another debuff, and it increases the damage by 80% and reduces the duration of 50% of this for when it affects the target, so that it happens faster, right? Because with the Annihilator virus, we want it to affect faster. And then with the EMP generator, yet another effect. This thing just slowly ticks their shields over time. So I use this first because it has the longest duration of 8 seconds. This one, because I'm halving the duration by 50%, it's now 7 seconds. And then this one only is 6 seconds, so it's the last one I use. So I go boom, 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 and we do some nice meaty damage just from our devices alone. Now, in addition to that, you can tell that we're using 3 different warfare devices. So I figured, what the heck, you know what? I'll make sure that I use Relentless with this. So what this is doing, this allows me to fire this pulse laser for a very long time. In actuality, this pulse laser uses a ton of energy, okay? But I said, screw that, I want to have a ton of energy. So by using this, I have a 60% increase to my energy capacity. So I don't have to worry about how much energy is required. Using this in conjunction with the warfare devices. The key is what I'm blocking right here. Warfare devices. So I'm gaining this incredibly nice synergy that syncs up with the synchro pulse so that I can basically fire it forever. It's nice, it feels good. It feels good. And then of course we also have the combination of the devices to bring it all in, right? To bring it all in. Oh, and then also I'm using another perk that gives me reactive armor every time I use a device. So when I'm using the combo, then I can't be touched. I can basically walk in here and start trolling them. Well, actually, I need the devices to not be on cooldown, so hang on a second there. Just gonna like float around them. Then we're gonna pop this on. We're gonna pop this on. Then we're gonna EMP everybody. And if they were alive, I wouldn't be taking any damage from their shots. This is one type of synergy that you can do. I know that a lot of people actually prefer the crit happens. Yeah, it's actually really good. We're still tweaking and modifying certain perks to make them a bit better. In some cases, a bit more balanced, I should say. But yeah, this is one of the cases, especially if you just like firing over and over and over again. Relentless, I have kind of fallen in love with it. Unless you're going for a particular like proc gen build that uses crits, something like that, which might be happening soon. Yeah, I mean, there's alternate tools and uses to do in there. Love the EMP generator, great combo. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how our combo systems have begun. And I say begun because there's still more coming. There's still more coming. And I am a pleased man. Some of the ideas, some of the concepts on the table. We are gonna have some fun. All right, let's fly over here to our jellies. Hello, jellies. These incredibly massive jellies. Just do a quick little comparison of size. And kind of do this to give you a little bit better sense. Yeah. Them's a big jelly. That's a lot of jelly. But they are our friends. As opposed to, I've said too much. Also, I forgot my lights were off. Ha! That'd have been dangerous to go spelunking without lights on. You could also find other combinations with, well, there's like, shoot, there's actually several other. Oh, here's a Redeemer Sage. We need to save the EMP generator. Hang on a second. Of course, we gotta wait 20 seconds. But regardless, we'll test out this shield. The shield benefits of an EMP in just a moment. I think what'll happen is that because it affects the ship, it negates his tool. But I just want to be like super clear on that. So let's see what happens here. We're fighting this mule from StarCraft 2, as somebody else put it. Granted, when it's closed, it doesn't quite look like that. When it's closed, it's not quite the same. All right, come at me, bro. Come on. Let's show the world what we're doing, what we're up to. Ouch! Oh, primary weapon overheated. That stinks. Okay, here we go. Ready? It does stop the shield. There you go. You don't like the shield? Get rid of it. Purchase an EMP near you. Or just be really fast and fly around their shield. That's what I like to do. That's my preferred method. Wonderful. Excellent. Also, do you guys like my ship colors? I was trying to go for like a neon sort of vibe. And I really like this coloration and I'm using like these teal lights as well. You can kind of see the lights on in there and on the engine side and the inside. And then I was like, oh, I want to make the purple look like it's got like a glow to it too. So I actually snuck in some pink coloration there. What? I'm pretty happy with that result. And also the fact that it kind of like matches the synchro pulse, that feels even better, you know? Like when your colors line up, isn't that just such a feel good? This level 20 stuff looks interesting. I didn't show level 20 yet. I didn't show level 20. Let the record show I didn't point to anything that's below where the mouse is at right here. Okay. More information on that very soon, actually. I'm sure everybody who dives into the experimental branch will also have plenty of things to say too. Now let's skirt around just a little bit more. Maybe there's something that we can fly up just a little bit closer to. Maybe there's something else that we can do here without giving away too much. Actually, I know there is. There's one more thing I'm gonna show. I didn't technically get approval for this, but I know that it's gonna be okay. I promise, Michael. I promise. All right, so we're gonna show this thing over here. We're gonna get a little bit oh, we're getting a little closer. We're getting a little closer. All right, look. I just want you to examine the state of the screen for a second, okay? I just want you to look before you at what's going on. Now, clearly, there's no life on this completely dead rock, right? Like, there's nothing that's possibly living here. There's no way, shape, or form, right? But I also want to point out that whatever is right here, you cannot do anything against it. Just showing, nothing happens. Nothing is occurring when we try to do anything to that, okay? And I'm also just gonna like look over there at like that pus field, if you will. Just briefly. All right, that's about as far as I can go. But it's just a dead rock. It's a big dumb rock. There's no life. There's nothing actually. You know, I'm teasing this location. I'm flying around, and you can see there's absolutely nothing going on. There's nothing to see here. There's no point to fly to this location at all. It's nothing. I'm out of water. That makes me sad. That's fine. Could you add a bit more low end to the synchro pulse laser sound so it matches the standard pulse laser? Giho, we have a question for you from the stream. After all of your extensive testing and your work with sound design and all the music and bringing everything together, we have a request to change it. What do you think? I don't know, maybe we'll be like, yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know. I'm guessing, however, that it's probably in a mostly finalized state, but I do know that more sound effects are coming because more items are coming. So we'll see what happens. But in general, though, I will also say this. The pulse laser is the be-all, end-all energy weapon that was established by Salvor Armament Group. So for me, whenever I'm hearing energy weapon, I always think of that almost higher pitch sound whenever I'm firing my laser beams. But maybe we'll have some competing organization with a super deep sounding like, bow. I don't know. That was a really bad deep sound, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. There's definitely more that can happen to the game space. Speaking of which, let's jump over to another location again. So we're kind of getting a mix of all the different things. So just a normal, general reminder that we are located in all of these different sites and places that you can go to get lots of information from us at any given time, including talking to us basically all the time on Discord. Granted, we don't communicate nearly as much on the weekends. So if you're trying to do stuff like that, probably not going to run to us nearly as much. But rest assured, you can always drop us a line, drop us a question. As I've said before, we are quite the transparent company. We don't like making you concerned. That's how I'm gonna word that. We don't like making you concerned. And if you ever have any concerns, we strongly encourage you to take advantage of these streams, which are community-focused streams. Like, the entire reason we do these is to interact with you and to tease you, of course, you know. So by all means, ask the questions that you are really, really concerned about, or, you know, what have you. We want to iron those things out. It's just how we operate. And we're back in here, and we actually, I did not spawn all this type of stuff. They showed up when I was gone, and it makes me upset because they were supposed to show up the last time I was here. These devious creatures. Ouch. Here, let's get rid of the shield. We learned we can do that. Music. Cool. So here we can kind of talk a little bit about lore, not too much, but you can tell that the Okar do not like the Redeemers at all. They're all fighting each other. Now the Redeemers, they were not here like before the Okar. To give you a little bit of insight, these guys showed up not too long after the research department was established. The freelance actions to explore and extract information regarding all these ancient structures. After they went silent is kind of when the Redeemers started showing up. Let's take on this Overlord. Oh, actually, I want to reiterate this one too, because I know that this one hasn't really been asked too much, but let's point this out. Oh, also I see. Hang on a second. Hang on. We got to silence this. I need to pronounce this correctly, apparently. Gijo. Can you hear that? Hang on a second. Wait, no, I messed up. Hang on. We have to turn the music off from here. Hang on. Because you guys can't hear this. Hans Christian sent me this to listen to so I can pronounce Giro's name correctly.
Giro.
Is that right? Are we getting it?
Giro.
Giro. Am I butchering this completely? Not Gicho? I'm not saying Gicho. Giro. What type of stream did this turn into? Oh my gosh. Let's all learn German together. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Our incredible sound designer, our incredible musician, who serves working directly at ROCKFISH Games. I can't seem to pronounce his name correctly, and I'm so sorry about that. But do know that I think he is a wizard, and I don't know how he does what he does, but I love every second of it. Like this! Like, gosh dang it. I love it. Giro. All right. I'm gonna Giro. Oh my goodness. And Entschuldigung. All right, let's take this guy out. Man, that does so much damage. I love that. Use the alt. Oh my gosh, that would help me so much in avoiding these particles, huh? It'd also help if I was further away. I'm not exactly using a weapon that's the most advantageous thing to, oh, this guy's totally dead. Ah! Oh, look at that dodge. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So much easier to dodge when using the alt. Thank you for that reminder. Watch them crash and burn. Actually, I really like the way that these guys in particular crash. Like, just... I just love it. That looks so explosive. Ah! Trying to do fancy things. Oh my gosh. Looked under the hood. Woo! We weren't ready for that one. My mouse scrolling the wrong direction. Whatever. It looks cool. I love it. Yeah, screenshots and the fan art I know are gonna go absolutely nuts very soon. And that pleases me greatly. Pleases me greatly. Oh yeah, rule of thirds. Yeah, I wasn't being super creative there. Now let's do our combo again, because I really dig this combo. He might be too far away. Oh no, that works. That works. Man, I love that combo. That combo is just like, yeah, you don't have to do anything else. That guy's got some moves. All right. And now we're all full up. You can go there. Oh yeah, we're totally keeping what we have here. Look at all this optimization going on. Oh my goodness. Let's see. We might use that beam laser right now, actually. How, you might ask? Oh, very, very easily. You know what? We're gonna do that to 2 items. So we get rid of all these. Also get rid of that. So we are going to modify this beam laser, I think. And what we can do is we can adapt the item. So when we do this, I want to be super clear in the language here. Oh, I'm getting frame drops. Woo, look, I'm a slideshow. Anyway, whenever you modify using this adapt tool, this does not lower the item by 1 level. What it does is it removes the level requirement. So had this been a level 20 beam laser, a level 23 beam laser, I could have adapted it and been able to use it. Ooh, it's pretty. It matches our ship. How about that? I love it. Now, with that being said, I know that there's just a couple options in the modify menu. Do know that that is still under construction. There's still more to go. I'm gonna show this last ancient lens here because this one's rather obvious. For any of you guys who missed this, this is one of the new ways that you'll be engaging in the Khaït Nebula. These ancient lenses need to be lined up. So like, for example, here, we want to shoot it at this site, but it's being blocked. I know I threw these out of the way the last time, but we'll just do it again. There we go. And if you get the right angle, you find the right solution to your positioning and all that type of stuff, then things happen. And that's all the more we're going to show of that puzzle. And each one triggers something a little bit more, which you then keep exploring, you discover something new. And these location challenges, like, we wanted to mix things up. We didn't want you to just get the same things over and over again, right? I think that any developer will want you to not do the same thing over and over 5,000 times. So we're adding a couple new things, mixing it up for you. Now, there is also an entire site. I'm just gonna say this straight up. There is an entire site in the Khaït Nebula, which is just like, oh, it's my favorite. It's, and I'm excited for you guys to experience it and then be like, wow, this is really cool. And hearing your feedback on it to see what else we can do for future updates. Because your feedback has already just been so good. Your guys' feedback has been pretty stinking cool. A little bit of the UI, you can see the behind the rock versus out in front. Cool, cool. Eric is so excited, he just can't even. Yeah, I get really excited about stuff, don't I? Woo! RNG is looking favorably with the purple weapons. Yes, indeed. This is a really purple stream. Yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? It's like super purple. We got purple laser. We got purple. Actually, I should say. No, this is classified as a laser, right? Oh my gosh. Are we getting into like a debate now? Is this a laser? Because this is a laser. But is this a laser? Oh man. Oh, did I start something? Regardless, purple. Well, this isn't a blaster because there's also a blaster. The blaster's like orbs. Okay, anyway, you guys can talk about that. I'm gonna keep going here, answer a couple more questions. When will the roadmap for 2022 come out? A great question. A fantastic question. I was actually just asking Michael before the stream because I wanted to know what our plan was and when we were going to show what we got on the docket. So there's a two-part response to that. One is that based on some of the new sort of deals, we are adjusting a little bit of what we initially had planned, namely that we're going to be able to cover more ground with our vision. And I want to be clear in that. That doesn't mean like we're going to be, oh, now it's going to be like 12 systems. No, we're not going that direction. It's about quality control. It's about making sure what we promised excels at what it's supposed to accomplish. Okay. So with that being said, the second bit to that, because we're ironing out some details, we'll have more information on the roadmap pretty stinking soon, actually, pretty quick. Michael had told me straight up right before the stream. It's like, oh yeah, we'll have details. So, yeah, we'll have details very soon. Very soon. It's a pew pew thing. That's probably the most scientific answer that I agree with. It is a pew pew thing. Definitely gonna side with that response. Cool. Every time I entrust the game to give me more enemies to encounter, it stops. Oh my goodness. I need more questions too. I'm surprised we're not having as many questions this stream than like before. You guys normally are like barraging me with things. What did you have for breakfast? Question is, how do we know further delays won't happen? It already happened twice. Truth be told, you don't. That's the answer. And it sucks. But that's game dev for you. We're making a project, we've been funded, we're getting new opportunities, and we're using that. And we want to push that as far as we stinking can. Because we have a vision. We want to make it happen. That's all there is to it. We're incredibly thankful for the support of you guys coming into the fray when we really needed it in order to accomplish these goals and these tasks that we've set in front of us. And we set some standards internally to say, we are not going to do X, Y, and Z. And some of those things include selling out. And sometimes when you make a statement like that, where you're not going to like break everything, it means there are other sacrifices that need to be made, including but not limited to delays. It sucks. It sucks. We don't like the delay of the game. We want to get you guys all up in this, right? We would love for this game to be complete. Oh, that'd be amazing. It takes time. That's the reality. And when new opportunities arise that allow us to further flesh out our vision, we're gonna take those, so long as it doesn't sacrifice our integrity. That's what it comes down to. So we are incredibly appreciative of those who understand and are patient with us as we navigate these new territories, and we'll see what happens next. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that you guys are too. Any plans for tweaks, adjustments to the format of unknown signals in high-risk locations? Hans Christian snuck on over there and said yes. Yeah, so there's a number of tweaks that we can. No, I can't show that. There's a number of, gosh, oh my goodness. We're ironing things out. And I've also mentioned this before, like we're still working on different ways to challenge and engage you in the game space of EVERSPACE 2 in and of itself, including but not limited to like the job board and how the reputation system is going to work. Woo boy. Oh man, that's a can of worms if I ever opened one. But rest assured, a lot of what you guys have seen, a lot of what we've talked about, in a lot of cases are still work in progress, and there are changes coming. Like you guys even know about like the items that we have, right? Like the commodities that are collected. I don't have a single commodity, really. Not a single one to reference as I talk about commodities. Well, regardless, commodities have no value whatsoever in the game space other than a credit that takes up an inventory slot, okay? We know that you guys know this. Is there a plan for commodities to be, like have more value to do something with? Yes, still down the line coming. There's a lot of things like that. It's a process. Oh my gosh, and there's a lot of quality that hasn't been implemented into the game. It would be amazing if we got more time to get more quality into the game. Hey, we got that, all right. So, we just, one step at a time, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, it's crazy. Let me tell you what. And hey, okay, so I see Brady Arrow says, I have high hopes. I have high hopes. Keep those high hopes. Do not let up. When adjustments like this happen, when we have delays like this, that doesn't mean, oh, you can be lighter on us and we can be lighter on you, blah, blah. It's not an excuse at all. It means we're in this for the long haul. We're gonna make sure it's exactly where it needs to be, right? That's how we look at it. Be critical of us. I cannot stress that enough. If you don't like something, go scream into the forums and say, oh, I hate this, it's garbage, and this is why, because it's constructive criticism and it's not just me whining. That's amazing. Do that. Please do that, because that helps us get closer to that vision that we're working on with you together to make it the best experience it can possibly be. Oh my goodness. But seriously, like, it's so important, it's so imperative to not let up on those high hopes. We have made very specific promises. We are keeping all of them. So thank you for being along for the ride and keeping us true to our word, because we ain't backing off. Dang it. All right. These redeemers are ticking me off because I want more combat. Oh my gosh. All I wanted this stream was to show more redeemers and zoom in and just like fly around, and they're not showing up. But hey, at least you got a fun little combo. Fun little combo. I'm actually really happy with this combo. Annihilator, Corrosion, Injector, EMP Generator. Goodness gravy. That being said, oh my gosh. I've seen you guys having a lot of fun with the fusion hook with the EMP combo is hilarious. And I'll even just straight up say Kazaa has done fine work in capturing some silly things, dropping them on Discord. So shout out to Kazaa. And I mean, there have been other noteworthy members of the community. I'm not trying to like, you know, like T3 Cube has also found some very interesting things that have worked into the game space. And anyway, we love how you're finding new ways to use these tools that we maybe didn't think was going to be the push for. And because you have found unique, interesting ways to do things, we are also experimenting with what that might be able to do a bit further as well. Now, I don't think I'm gonna have an example of that, so I hope that I didn't just choose that and everyone goes, oh, he's gonna show us the thing. Not quite. I'm just mixing this up because it needs to be mixed up. But rest assured, using all these things that can modify physics and push things around can do some really wonky, really fun things in the game space. I think what we're gonna do from here is we're going to, oh, we have to be at a base. I can't change that out. So we've reduced our ability to fire as rapidly, but that's okay. Here, let's see if I can do this without showing the wrong location. We're gonna listen to some beautiful music and we're gonna fly over to another site. Ah, here we go. We can go back to the Bree Bio plant, which isn't too far away. You know, let's go to an unknown signal. What's the worst that can happen? Did I test this before the stream? No! We'll see what happens. Make death magic? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, this is good. Okay, so let's take this guy and have him go for a woo! Oh yeah. See you later. Oh wow, there's lots of guys around here. Okay. Let's move some of them away from me. Not looking to get super crazy overwhelmed. Focus on the drones. Now, I mentioned this before. Anytime you take out a Redeemer drone, you can see that it's doing something to the nearby targets. That's basically replenishing them. So if you don't focus fire your troops down, you're doing like a little bit of chip damage to nearby opponents, and then you take out a drone, that's just gonna help them. So you have to figure out what focus you have on the enemy and execute that accordingly. Oh, Alec's here? Oh my gosh, hey Alec. Hey Alec, glad that you showed up. Let's see. Woo! Oh my gosh, it never gets old. Look at how far he's going. Delightful. Oop. So these sages, they're the ones that are using the weapon that overheats a random part of our ship. It can be very damaging if they get the right system hit. And speaking of that, we may or may not be tweaking certain situations to where, like, for example, if I'm being straight honest, if your sensors get overheated, it's like, who cares? EVERSPACE 2 sensors don't operate the same way that they did in EVERSPACE 1. That may or may not change. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But having your sensors impaired isn't nearly as bad as having your weapon get overheated, right? Or your shields. So we are making some modifications to ensure that every time you encounter one of these enemy ships, it's not just straight luck of RNG if you got hit with a bad thing or an okay thing. It's consistently going to be something you have to deal with. So little tweaks and modifications like that are going to encourage a bit more clarity in your playstyle and engagements, instead of just the I'm gonna fly in and shoot my single weapon and not use any other tools sort of mentality, which can set in, and it can be a little lackluster if you start falling into that. Ooh, I did not mean to grab that asteroid, but having that in mind, we might utilize that to fling around this situation. Asteroid? Did he? Oh, I thought he landed on the asteroid. I thought I like forced him to collide, but nope. Ooh, that's a new graphic. Pretty. No capacity. Oh. See if we can get an asteroid kill. We didn't throw him far enough. Oh, our shields just got hurt. Try that again. Oh, much better. Much better. Didn't pull him the right way. Come back to me. Now I'm just throwing them around. There's not even a strategy to this. I'm just being a butt. But you can see, like, just by swapping our devices around, it can kind of change the nature of how you're approaching the game space. You can do damage combos, you can get cheeky and kind of do a little bit of what I'm doing here and just pushing people around. And sometimes the best thing for you is just making space between enemies anyway. You guys know that. There we go. Oh, that's some nice damage. Cool. Solar particles, yay! Man, there was a lot of goods from this combat. And one more container. $1,600 credits. Thank you very much. A lot of credits. And we knew they were credits because we updated the UI! Hey! Excellent. All right, I'm gonna check for questions. Ooh! Oh! Robert says, I can't even do mouse and keep, and the controller just doesn't have enough buttons. Oh, man. Oh, wouldn't it be great if there was just like a keyboard on a controller? Does it make sense? No, but it'd be the coolest thing ever. Yeah, that's the big benefit of the keyboard, right? And honestly, it's also why we have optimized the game and we recommend mouse and keyboard play, because the mouse and its precision controls, which is for us very important in a 6 degrees of freedom environment. Plus with the keyboard, where you have like all these different functions and powers that you can access at any point in time, and you know, obviously keybind them accordingly. We feel like that's just the best place to start. Now, obviously, if you want to play with the controller, you can absolutely do that as well, which I am now doing here. It does change how certain things work, like if you were using a device, for example. You push the appropriate tools down to do so. And you can also see that there's some guidance. Actually, I think hang on a second. I actually think I changed this to where I maximized the gamepad's auto aim strength. Oh my gosh. We're gonna change that right now. Oh my goodness. But like you can adjust that. You can adjust that as well. So like we're using complete controller here, and they're like everything, you know, it still has the same functionality, just have less buttons. But you know, it's important to us to honor, you know, especially since we will be launching on various consoles as well. Like we want you to be able to use a controller. But yeah, and then HOTAS, you know, all that type of stuff too. But yeah, we do have it optimized for mouse keyboard. Wonderful. A lot of solar particles out here, I'm discovering. Has the bug where one can get stuck in between been fixed? I'm gonna need you to be more specific. And that does not sound delightful at all. Okay, so I was kind of making a joke about a keyboard on a controller because then there's some pretty strong complexities with a keyboard being used on a... Anyway, I get that it actually does exist. My overarching point is that we like the precision of the mouse overall. That's probably the biggest thing. Analog is still nice, especially 2 analog sticks, right? Like that's, you got some very fluid support as opposed to WASD and a mouse. So there are certainly advantages that controllers have, right? Not knocking that at all. That's why we gave the option to use what you would like. So I wonder if there's been some tweaking on other elements of weapons, and the beam laser is actually one of them. So I don't think it's actually happening in this moment, but we have found that there's some issues with how beam lasers get lined up and how they're hitting their targets. And we are making further adjustments on that. You have my word, because if we aren't making adjustments, then Marco's probably gonna lose his mind. But you might have seen it there just briefly where it seemed like the beam laser was bouncing around kind of rapidly. Yeah, it's definitely something that is getting tweaked. Something we know needs to be adjusted. Are there more little fighters? Let's get them. Crafting is already far too easy of a feature to get loot. You know, it's kind of funny because, like, I don't see a lot of people use crafting, but it's insanely beneficial. And I guess I'm kind of guilty of it too, because like, wow noise. But like during the course of the streams, I don't generally craft too much because I kind of pre-build so that I can use something specific for the stream, right? But when I'm just naturally playing the game the way that it's intended, I craft all the time. Like I scrap and craft. That's what I do. Like I don't think I ever sell stuff unless it's a consumable, and I sell my consumables a lot. Speaking of consumables, let's move things around a little bit. We could also do this. That streamer Corman has one controller, super cool for playing Starship games. Yeah, oh my gosh, the Move Master. It's called the Move Master. Yeah, basically, it's a combination controller plus keyboard. It's pretty cool. And he normally streams right after the streams as well, so you could probably jump over to him to see what's happening there if you wanted to, because I don't know if you want to keep watching a stream when maybe you could do something else. So I'll just have you guys know that we are getting close to the end of the stream. And that only means one thing. That we're doing our final checks to make sure that a particular fancy button could get pushed. Almost 100% of my stuff is crafted, says Kazaa. Yeah, dude, same. In my actual playthrough where I don't use dev commands. Absolutely same. Try farming epics for days to try and get enough to get a weapon or piece of gear that has the prefix you want and hopefully the stats you want. I mean, it's a roll of the dice, right? It's a roll of the dice, but that's intended. That is how that is meant to operate. When you go in to craft something, you are taking the resources you have. Dang, I've got a lot of freaking standard resources. But you're taking those resources that you have and then you're investing it into a opportunity is the best way I'm gonna word that. You're taking it and you're transforming it into something new that's more in the direction of what you want. Now, I will also very clearly state that we are not done with the crafting system. There are still more elements here that are being fine-tuned and adjusted. We want to make sure that crafting as a whole is not only a complement through your particular process through the game space. When you start off at level 1 and you reach the cap, which is, I believe we're aiming for level 30. I think that's in the plan. We also want to make sure that when you reach that in-game goal, crafting still has value. Crafting still has weight in some degree or capacity. It's not something that you're like, oh, well, I'm max level. I'm never gonna craft again. See you later. Screw the crafting system. It doesn't matter. Like, nope, that's not how we're approaching that. Green screen, you calm down. Calm down, green screen. Hey, I'm talking to you. Calm down. All right. So yeah, that's definitely something that we are in line with and making sure everything's working well. I also just got confirmation that the button was pushed. Refresh your Steam! Refresh it! Because I do believe that the experimental branch is now officially live. Thank you, Andy, for pushing said button. You're a rock star. So now is the time, if you are not in the experimental branch on Steam, this is an opportunity for you to dive in. Also note, this is not fully completed yet. You're getting a pretty good portion, like almost everything, but not everything. And what the Khaït Nebula is gonna have to offer, dive in to the experimental branch and start pouring out that feedback. Make sure that it runs at all. If you're having issues, now is the time to let us know, because we got to get this ironed out so all players across all universes. Wow, I got expansive very quickly, but we mean this is the opportunity to help us make this the best it can possibly be. So get cracking. You can explore the story if you want. There's new side missions galore, all the locations that I've showed you and more. You can actually go into the secrets that I keep teasing but haven't actually shown. There's a lot that was added. So go crazy. Start the download now. Start the download now while you're still with us for a few more minutes. And again, like if you're having major issues here, if like it's a big problems, this are crazy rundowns, guys, also know that it's an experimental branch for a reason. All right, we know there are going to be issues. Some of them might be major issues. They might be. We hope they're not, but it's possible. Okay, this is like par for the course pertaining to early access process. All right, so if you want to dive in, I strongly encourage you to and provide feedback on how things are going. Sincerely, like raise your voices and say, this is working, this sucks, this feels like it should be doing this other thing, you know, like whatever it is. Because now is the time to make this the best it can possibly be. For the full release of this, for all those who do not have the product on Steam, because Steam is the only place that offers an experimental branch. just how Valve works. We don't have that opportunity elsewhere. For everyone else, we are in the final stages now with the experimental branch live of refining this, fine-tuning it, and this will be live on November 3rd. November 3rd, that is, how many days away is that? I can't even math right now. That's approximately a week and a half. So all next week, we're gonna be cracking things open. We're gonna be pounding out all the content to make sure that it's actually working as intended. And then when we get to the true update, you'll see just a little bit more. And it will open the doors to everybody. No, there were not Eric sounds added to the game. Man, I just absolutely unloaded on this guy. Wonderful. I have no missiles! Beautiful. I'm just gonna sit here on this rock. We're gonna look into the sunset. Sunrise? Sun. Star. How'd I get so many augment upgrades? Well, two ways. One, this was a pre-built save, so it was naturally accruing, say, augments over time. Augments you can find everywhere. There are lots of them. In fact, I do not even have all of them in the current game space. So yeah, you just go throughout, do the location challenges, find all the hidey holes and secrets, and I guess I should also say, I'm gonna tease you with this. I'm just gonna let you know. There was a question recently about having the ability to see if you'd found everything on the map yet or not. And I said that it was going to be coming down the line. It's not really a priority. I lied. So I hope you guys have fun. Jellies. Jellies! Ah! I like them. They're like a few of my favorite things. Don't ever shoot a jelly. If I watch your stream and I see you shoot a jelly, I'm leaving your stream. Just letting you know. All right, I'm seeing confirmation that people are getting updated. Good, good. Oh man, Hans Christian gave a little bit more insight as to crafting than I actually thought we were going to hand, but you know what? Hans Christian said it publicly, so I'm gonna say it publicly too. So over on YouTube, he said, we plan to add more things to crafting like affix creation, runes, if you will, attribute extraction, and so on. Can't promise, but we will revisit crafting again and again, and that I can guarantee we will be revisiting again and again and again. Oh man, so know that, like, now you got a taste. Thank you, Hans Christian, for sharing that. And now you guys got a taste for what we plan on doing for like the crafting system. Okay? And now that's the first time anyone's heard anything remotely close to that. So when I say this isn't done and I'm being super generic and not giving the details, now you know some ideas. That's not even all of them. That's not even all of them. We just gave you a little bit. Okay, so but this, hopefully you can see how much more this confirms we want to ensure that crafting has a goal in the in-game state. Straight up, boom, there's your confirmation. Because if you're oh, whoops, we're in the wrong thing. If you are at friggin' max level, you know, and all the items drop at max level, if they were to do that. What? Did he just imply that they're not gonna drop at max level? Then adopt item would be completely worthless, right? Completely useless to you, right? So, like increasing the rarity on stuff like this is completely useless. Like there's a very specific upgrade level, you know, you completely useless, and each thing has its specific goal, and in most cases what we're currently utilizing, there's not really an end game super purpose to it. In most cases it's before you get there, and we're adding to that. We want to ensure that the end game state has those abilities in mind. So there you go. There you go. Thank you for that tease. It's good. Starting an unhealth care program for jellies until my average viewers is above 3. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is savage. Will I be able to fight enemies who are like 5 levels higher than them? It depends on if you restart your save or not. But what I can say to that is we absolutely want to make sure that our level scaling is complementing the game experience. We know that there is a very large concern, ourselves included here. We've been battling it out internally. I shouldn't say battle. That's not really the right way of putting it. But we have a lot of discussions and a lot of concerns, a lot of criticisms, and you know, about how we're utilizing the level scaling, right? And we've seen the criticism come from you guys. I want to be very transparent there, right? Like, of course, if level scaling is not done correctly, it's dumb. It's pointless. It's literally pointless, right? If it's done incorrectly. So we have a lot of very strong goals about how level scaling not only complements your progression moving forward, but it also challenges you as a player based on where you're going and what you're choosing to do. This is not just by like progressing the story. This is by your active decisions and what you are and where you are going, as well as like the jobs that you tackle, the side missions that you are utilizing, all of these things, like where you, like, it's so much more than just let's take the enemy's level and scale it to exactly where the player's at and call it a day. Oh, you're fighting a level 17. That means that he's gonna have a little bit more health and do a little more damage to the level 16. Like, no, like there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more finesse. We are very well aware that there needs to be as well. So please know that there's an intentionality to why we put in level scaling. It's a soft level scaling system. It's not hard level scaling. And when I say that, very much mean it's not like a straight across the board, everything's this level forever. And locations do have levels. There are levels associated with locations. There are levels associated with regions. And you'll see more of that as more of the world opens up as we continue through development. It's kind of hard to see and to like fully show in this state, which I understand why you guys have made the concerns you have, since you haven't seen the full picture. It's just one of those things where you have to wait it out. You have to believe me. And if you don't, that's fine. Increase your expectation of what that looks like so that when we get there, we can truly flesh that out so that you know what's going down. So far, it looks like nobody's saying they're having problems with getting the update. That's great to hear. I did not forget fan art. We are not doing fan art today. We wanted to focus more on questions and showcasing locations, even though there hasn't been a heck of a lot going on in this location. This one, they were supposed to generate a lot more for me, but no worries, no worries. What is that and why is that on fire? Oh, I think it was a drone. Yeah, it's an OCAR drone. Yeah, it's just almost dead. Here, let's help it. It's gone. There we go. Oops. Into the asteroid. There we go. Oh, he still had shields. Dang. That's unfortunate. One more try. Let's drain his shields first with our shield breaker missiles. There we go. That was not near an asteroid. Ah, oh well. Try and have some fun with the physics. But regardless, guys, this is where I end you with the stream. So I hope that the download's still going. Again, if you guys have any issues whatsoever at all, please dive into the forums, say what's going on. Give us some specs to work with. Give us like super detailed responses, because again, this is more than just servicing you, it's servicing everybody. And every little bit that you contribute helps the whole. So if you want to dive into experimental build, thank you. If you want to provide feedback, that's huge. Let's make this the best experience it can possibly be. All right, guys? So go enjoy the Khaït Nebula. Go get it. It's out there. It's out there waiting for you. So I have been, you guys have been awesome. I have been Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. Don't stop being awesome, and we will catch you in the next stream. Toodles! Just letting you guys all know that this promo weight page thing is probably going to see a couple new additions to it pretty soon. So T3 Cube, your question right there. Boom. Go find out what lurks in the asteroids.